Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next video. It has been some time for a number of reasons, but I'm still around, even though life has put a few changes in my plans. Today is a discussion about calibers, specifically from perspective of self-defense. Modern self-defense, not your grandpappy's self-defense. As you know, things are changing, crazies and uncontrollable ones are popping out, and we have to consider all kinds of sides and possibilities and your and our abilities as responsible adults to protect ourselves and loved ones. Sometimes even protect the innocents. Not innocents, but innocent. In other words, innocent people that for some reason are unable to defend themselves. But the most importantly is we have to be practical, hence the channel. Calibers. Some people consider 22, and again, starting with rimfire, let's put the pistol calibers aside. I only own one rimfire caliber. There are a variety of them. 22 LR is the one I own. There is 22 Winchester Magnum. There is 17 HMR and so forth and so forth. I only own 22 LR, and in my mind, it is not much of a defense cartridge unless that is all you have. In that situation, do not use hollow points. Do not use soft points. 22 does not penetrate well in those rounds. They're designed for critter control, not animal control, or even vermin or varmint. You need at least varmint or medium game control rounds for self-defense. There are some companies that are promoting some of their cartridges as self-defense 22s. Do I know anything about them? No. Would I use them? No. So use, if you have to, use a long gun in 22 and some kind of standard high quality cartridges. Obviously I did not bring everything to the table. My table is not quite that big, but SK is a good example. Lapua, LA, in US CCI Minimags are a very good example. Do I shoot them myself? No. Not that much. Again, my 22 is for training and for fun. So I use all kinds of different ammo. I have even Armscore right now, which is for me a new cartridge. So something like this is a hollow point. If I want to scare a snake, maybe. If I want to scare a piece of paper, sure. If I wanted to do anything practical, no. Solids, plain ammunition, not hollow points, not soft points. But otherwise, I would not consider 22 as self-defense cartridge unless absolutely required by situation. Next calibers are now finally pistol calibers. In my mind, the minimum self-defense caliber is a 380 ACP. In Europe, they call them 9x17 and are actually sold over there in the commercial, non-military calibers, specifically because there are some countries that prohibit owning military calibers such as 9x19. Wouldn't you think about that? Here's an example of a fairly good practice FMJ from Gecko. Good luck finding them today. But I still have a few 100 or 1,000 left. FMJ, made in Germany probably. Yay! Luck. But again, I have a pocket 380, and as you can imagine, to carry it, get a better ammunition. In this situation, hollow points are justifiable and are useful because they will have enough power to penetrate and they will have enough ability to open up. Again, make sure that the ammunition matches your barrel length because hollow points open based on speed or design, but often on speed. And if they're going too slow, they might not open and thus be slightly less useful. This is a Hornady load. The gun I use it in is a M380, if you want to know. I don't know if I have shown it on this channel. I haven't shown a lot of my guns on this channel. This honestly used to be my secondary channel. I'm trying to develop it more. So you might see more guns from my saves. I'm not going to call it an arsenal because it's not, but from my mini collection. American Gunner by Hornady is an example of a fairly good defensive load in 380. I have a Walther PPKS and Remington RM 380 as the two guns. PPKS actually carried for a while, back years ago. Right now, no. Better guns, better calibers. 380 is a very well-known cartridge in the US, and many options are available. So, by all means. Some of the cartridges that I have, simply because, again, who I am and where I'm from Arkansas, for those that don't know. By the way, of Russia. 17 almost years in Russia and a lot of years in Arkansas, Jersey, and Florida. Mostly in Florida out of all this time. But because of my heritage, I still own Soviet era and type firearms, and that is Tokarev and Makarov. Tokarev and Makarov, if you want to hear how it sounds in Russian correctly. Tokarev is a Tulsky Tokarev, meaning Tokarev pistol made in Tula. That's what TT stands for. And Makarov is the Pistolet Makarova. Makarov is the inventor, well, honestly, the person that re-engineered the Walther PP and made it a lot simpler and a lot cheaper to produce. 9x18 and 7.62x25. Are those good cartridges? They used to be. If you don't have a choice on something else, they're less than what is available today. But if you choose to carry a Makarov, you might be able to find some ammunition for it. It is going to be more expensive than proper 9mm today, in my experience. And it is weaker. In power, it is comparable to a 380, higher end 380. And it is about 2/3 of a 9mm NATO load, or NATO, depending on how you pronounce it. So, yes, I have a couple of Makarovs specifically for historical reasons, collectibles. I don't even shoot them much. And you're not going to see them on the table while I have live ammunition for the safety reasons. Another one from Red Army Standard. Again, Century, of course, imported these. These are made in Romania. That produced another variant of Tokarev, 17.62x25. This is a bottleneck cartridge. If you want to think of bottleneck cartridges that are more modern, 357 SIG, 5.7x28. This is a World War II era bottleneck cartridge that honestly is a bastard child of a 30 Mauser, which is 7.63x25. And by the way, they could actually cross-load for a while. Originally, this was supposed to be a Mauser. But, again, Russia, everything is 7.62, not 7.63. So, they made 7.62. Very fast cartridge, very expensive, very low availability of ammunition, and no defensive ones that I know of. Maybe some company makes them, but there are no good guns to use this cartridge currently available on the US market. Viability for practical use, less than 9x18. There are plenty of cartridges, choice, or was, and quite a few guns in 9x18 with acceptable capacity in comparison to Tokarev. Honestly, CZ52 and different variety of Tokhrov are the only ones I know of. I'm thinking right now. So, practical? No, neither. So, put them to the side. I don't consider them as part of my practical calibers. So I don't stockpile them. I have some ammunition to play if I want to take them to the range. Next one is first of the 9mm, if I want to say it. But can I really? Oh my god, this is empty. Oh, this is empty. Yes, I went to the range. I don't have any videos from the range at this time on this channel. I don't bring the cameras with me much, so I need to start changing that. 357 Magnum. I don't have 38 special ammo left. I'm out. And I'm not buying more because I switched to 9mm. This is, in my mind, along with the 10mm, which I don't own, is one of the very few semi-universal cartridges that are good for defense against two-legged and four-legged dangerous animals. Though against a four-legged one, you probably don't want a soft point. You want probably a hard cast bullet. This one is mostly a practice round. MagTech, fairly inexpensive at this time. M37 Magnum is quite a bit of power. This is a flat 158 grain soft points. Back then, this whole box was less than 30 bucks. You can guess how old this box is. I don't want to even try. It has been a while. And of course it provides information on ballistics, which I cannot read because of my eyesight going towards the camera screen. But if you want to, that's all up to you. Revolver Ammunition. If you are planning to use a revolver for whatever purpose that may be, I consider 357 caliber revolver as the best choice. And I own, I think, at least 2 of them at this time. The numbers keep changing up and down, depending on what happens in my life. I have a Smith & Wesson Performance Center, 66.6. That's a great revolver. And a Ruger new Black Hawk with a I think it's a 6 or 8 inch barrel. Those things work great. For self-defense, great caliber, if you can handle the gun chambered in this ammunition. It's going to have low capacity, but quite a bit of power. Next is another 9mm. By the way, the Ruger I have is convertible from 357 to a 9mm. As you can imagine, there is a gazillion variety of 9mm defensive cartridges. I don't even have the space on the table to show them all. From hollow points to all kinds of different ammunition, such as this 115 365 from SIG, CCW ammo, as an example. I have all kinds of different types of ammo because I carry different types of 9mm guns. Sometimes longer barrels, sometimes shorter, sometimes smaller. That will be a separate conversation. So I'm testing out different types of ammunition depending on how well they work and how well they hit. I don't know how well they open up or how well they penetrate. I have to depend on the manufacturer information and on the YouTube videos from other testers and bloggers. So, but I have different types. So Fort Scott, 115 grain, so forth and so forth. My most common ammo that I carry in 9mm, you'd be probably surprised. It is not a Federal HST. It is usually a 124 hollow point from Speer. And I'm running out. And I train with a 124 TMJ from Speer, because they're supposed to be parallel in recoil and accuracy. So 0 and 1 works in both. But I have different types of ammunition to try. Sometimes Hornady, sometimes Federal, sometimes Winchester, and sometimes I get weird rounds. Solid copper hollow points from Colt. It's going to have a great penetration in addition to being a hollow point. solid from Fort Scott Ammunition. Expensive as heck, most of these. In many cases, these guys are more than $1 a round. This one is more than $1.50 per round from Colt. These are $35 or $25 for 20, so more than $1. So forth and so forth. And again, defensive ammunition is often quite expensive. So 20 rounds for $30, $1.50. So always plan and try to stick to what you can if that ammo is available. Unfortunately, the ammunition supply, especially of rare ammo, is changing all the time. So I try to keep a stockpile. 9mm, in my mind, is the universal round. Capacity, recoil, price. Those are the things that matter. And usually these are not going to be the best in any of them, but overall, this is going to be the best in my mind for what I can afford. Again, there are other calibers and cartridges that might provide better, but they're going to be either more expensive or more recoil or less capacity or all of the above. 10mm is a perfect example. Reduce a lot more power, a lot more penetration, also a lot more expensive, and reduce capacity and a lot more recoil. So most of my guns are 9mm. And I do have a few 45s. I used to carry a 45, and this is the last pistol caliber that we're going to look at today. This is one of the rounds I used to carry. Obviously, you can see it has been for a while. This box is probably close to 10 years old. I keep them well in a dry area. Federal Premium HSTs. Well, junior hollow points actually in this case. This is a 230 grain Hydroshock by Federal. At that time, $17. Life is changing. I wish I was making today kind of money. In those years, as you can see, there are 20 rounds for $17. This is probably going to be 40 rounds today. 30 rounds. $30 probably. Maybe 40. 45 has a lot of power. It is controllable recoil in full metal guns such as 1911s or big guns such as a Heckler USP. But less penetration through hard things, so to speak, because it is a slower round. Much bigger weight, much bigger energy than 9mm, but approximately half the capacity. Part of the reason why everybody went to 9mm is better technologies, better ammunition. Twice the capacity, half the recoil, especially in the plastic toy guns, such as Glocks. So this is video number 1, pistol calibers. In my mind, these are the 3 pistol calibers that are, I'm going to call defensive, practical use ones. 380, 37 Magnum, even though it's a revolver, 9mm and 45. I do not consider 40 as a viable caliber. I do not own a 10mm. And anything below 380 in my mind is not a viable defense caliber. Though some people might disagree, all the power to them. Russian ones, only if I have to. And I hope I will not have to. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we're going to talk about rifle and intermediate calibers.